Hello and welcome to the Myrtle Beach Heat Races for the 2012 Utica Home Track Series finale. We have 50 drivers, 48 of them are going to be driving today. 4 heats, here's the first one. 13 cars are going to be going home all together, but there's only 12 cars in this first heat. Here is the starting grid. Jack Duncan on top. Now the way it works is the top 8 cars in this heat are going to make it through to the actual race. The bottom 4 are going to go to the last chance qualifier to see if they can make it in there. Jack Duncan, car number 2, was on the pole. He was the Sparta winner earlier this year. Now, locked in contention has been thrown out the window this week. Only championship eligible cars are locked in, with the exception of Matt Evans, who's in this heat due to a penalty at Osterreichring. Speaking of, there's an incident on lap 2. Seth Cole, car number 5, one of the top rookies of the year, is going to make contact with Michele Cittadino, go up into the wall, and he's going to save it, but it's going to slow up Matt Evans, car number 4, who desperately needs to make it in. He's also slowing up Oku Yamadea, the Japanese driver that's running for Trek Togger's team, Gas Tech Engineering Incorporated. Instant lap 3. Soon after that, Cole's also going to get in front of Matt Evans and put him in the wall. And that's going to get some damage to Matt Evans, which could potentially ruin his championship run, but it obviously didn't do it too much. Matt Evans seemed to be actually faster after that, and throughout the race, he was slowly gaining up. And look at this pass here, passing both Bob Cittadino and Michele Cittadino to get 7th place, and currently in to the finals. So, great run by Matt Evans so far. Also, for some reason, Seth Cole also started to do well. Seth Cole really drove it in, and there is Bob Cittadino, who was the 8th place car. Seth Cole's going to go underneath and pass him for it. Despite wrecking early on, falling very far behind, these two would make it up to about at halfway point. Michele Cittadino on lap 53 of 80 would get lapped, and it would pretty much put her out of this round. She would have to go to the LCQ. The number 6 car has not been handling too well. She's switching numbers next season. The race was pretty clean until then, with the exception of Todd Benoit making a pass at one point. But Jack Duncan would take home the win for the first segment. He would get 5 bonus championship points for winning the segment and 1 extra Rookie of the Year point for being the Rookie of the Heat. Jack Duncan is in the race, so is Tyler Benoit, David Creedon, Matt Evans, Nikki Allen, who's making her first start, David Yankee, Seth Cole, and Andreas Allen. They're all going to be in. Oku Yamadea, Willie Decker, Bob Cittadino, Michele Cittadino are going to make it to the last chance qualifier. That's their last chance to make it in. Now we'll have to take a look at Heat 2. As I said, there are 4 heats tonight. And here's the starting lineup for that heat. Scrolling past, you see Dylan White on the pole there. These are the drivers with car numbers 10 through 40. 12 cars, as usual. There's 12 cars in every heat. Dylan White was on the pole. Now, Dylan White's been winless in his first Utica Home Track Series season, but came close in Indianapolis, and has been kind of pulling kind of a Robert DeFrank, where he's been placing well, but not well enough to get a lot of news coverage. Dylan White having a good run this year. No confirmed plans that he's going to return next year, but we'll have to see. Maybe if this run's good enough, he will. Tyler Smith, car number 31. Went to try and win the championship last year at this track, failed. Now he's going to pass Dylan White for the lead. So we'll see. If he wins this heat, Tyler Smith, he might have a shot at the championship, but I'll bet a small one. Chris Aurelio, car number 27, was struggling in this event. This car was not fast at all. It's been really far behind. Now he said, going into Myrtle Beach, if he finishes any lower than 8th, they may not have the funds to run next season. At the current moment, it looks like they're not going to make the race, which is a shame. We like having them in the series. Gabe Carraz, he left the series earlier on and did some other projects like racing Porsches and all other supercar racing. He decided to come back to redeem himself. After last year, he entered Myrtle Beach with the points lead and then smashed into the pace car under a caution, putting him out of the race and out of the championship. Things have gone downhill since then. He's going to see if he can make the field today. He's currently not at that point yet. Tyler Smith had an easy victory. No one could catch up to him, and he would win the segment. He would get 5 bonus points, and mathematically, he can still win the championship, but Commisso would have to finish last. Jamie Murphy would have to finish 4 spots away from last, and Matt Evans can't get a top 30 position. As you can see, Tyler Smith is in. Dan O'Neill substituting for Connor Breton is in. Matt Corio in the 20, his last race. Dylan White, Russell Curie, Brandon Bain, Andrew Wiegand, Joshua Michael are in. But Gabe Carraz, Eris Schock, Skylar Johnson making her first start, and Chris Aurelio all go to the LCQ. They're going to have to try and race their way in. Now we move on to the drivers for Heat 3. Here is your starting lineup for that. Billy Bishop on the pole for that. A lot of rookies near the front. And you see a couple of the people higher up in points like Samantha Yankee and Robert DeFrank, Brian Valentine. Billy Bishop making his first Utica Home Track Series start if he can make it through the LCQ. He's running a Vitology paint scheme next season of the Pearl Jam. They are running a simplified version this year since they're going to the new car. But that paint scheme is done, and let me tell you, it looks nice. I can't wait to see that one race. He's doing well today, leading early on, but Neil Evans, car number 55, would take it soon afterward. Neil Evans was one of the top rookies this year, but has not really done too well later in the season. He's not in contention for Rookie of the Year anymore, but he's still going for a good run. He will be back next year with Evans Engineering Incorporated. Brian Valentine won the championship last year, but now mathematically out of it. He's going to come all the way from 12th place in this session and pass Neil Evans for the lead. So Brian Valentine having a great car. We'll have to see how he does in the actual race itself. It looks pretty confident that he will make this race. One driver that could be iffy, Samantha Yankee, who's, despite being in the top 10 in points and winning 2 events, is currently not locked in. This car is running pretty poorly today, and they're thinking they may have a mechanical issue under the hood, which would be a shame. They attempted this race last year and did fairly well. Brian Valentine, no one could touch him. He would lap Alex Tanker, and he would go around the last turn, and he's pretty much uncontested. He will win this race no matter what, and that'll give him 5 bonus points, which won't put him in mathematical competition, but hey, it helps. You always want as many points as you can get. Brian Valentine got his first win earlier in the year, and this is his first heat win. Actually, these are the first time we've had heat races. Brian Valentine is in, so is Neil Evans, Trek Togger, who's running for Rookie of the Year standings. Billy Bishop going to make his first start. John Cedino, who's had a rough season, is going to make it in. Then Brian Broughton, Christopher Harley is going to be the last one in. Robert DeFrank, Samantha Yankee, Alex Tanker, and Jeffrey Finguy are all going to go to the LCQ. All 4 of them are past winners in the series. 3 of them have won this year. Now we go to Heat 4. As we take a look at the starting lineup here, this is the last heat for tonight before we go to the LCQ. Jonathan Benton's on the pole, and a lot of rookies near the front here as well. A couple of new faces, and some old like Jeff Evans and Megan Curley, who have been in the sport for a while. On pole is Jonathan Benton. They are planning on running him on a partial schedule at Michael Aurelio's car number 93. This car is being entered, this current 99 car is being entered only in this race. And he will be making a campaign for Rookie of the Year next year, though he's only running the Speedway races. Incident lap 1. I'm not sure how this didn't cause a caution. Cautions are allowed here, but Prudence Littlejohn's going to get hit by Max Skinner, who was turned by Michael Aurelio, and a lot of heavy damage to the 79 car. They would run out this race and they would park that car. They are too damaged. Richard Johnson, who's in the Utica Rallycross Series, making his first start in the Utica Home Track Series, and he's going to lead. The 92 car only plans on running this race at the current moment, but maybe if he does well enough, he'll be inclined to run next year as well. Based on his rallycross performance, he's been doing pretty well. We'll have to see how he does in the stock cars. Michael Aurelio, car number 93, had a brilliant car in this heat. He started near the back, got into that wreck at the beginning, and has worked his way all the way up to the front, which has been a common theme today of cars from the back working their way up to the front. We didn't mention it, but Russell Arcuri in his heat made it up to the front as well. Aurelio is running for Rookie of the Year. He might win it, but he's not running a full schedule next year. He's going to split the ride with Jonathan Benton's. Ray Takeda is replacing Estavas Cortez, who, on the grounds of RG Motorsports, has been not attending the meetings for the team, so they decided to put Ray Takeda, who raced the past 2 races and did well, in this car. Estavas will still race next season, only for the first couple of races and the final couple of races. Ray Takeda is going to drive this car in the middle and drive her own car for the races Estavas Cortez is running. She's going to be making a Rookie of the Year attempt. When all was said and done, no one could catch Michael Aurelio, which is a common theme today. The leaders always seem to run away. Michael Aurelio is going to make it in. That's going to give him 5 bonus points for points and 1 bonus point for Rookie of the Year, which could help him over Trek Togger. Overall, Michael Aurelio is going to make the race. So will Brock McMahon, Richard Johnson, Joe Cole, who won twice this year, Megan Curley, who started last, William Duncan, Max Skinner, Alex Allen, sorry, whoops, are all going to make it in, but Ray Takeda, Jonathan Bentons, Jeff Evans, and Prudence Littlejohn all not going to make it. 3 of them go to the LCQ. Prudence Littlejohn withdraws her cars, 2 damage. Now it's time for the last chance qualifier. We're only taking the top 3 cars. At the current moment, Robert DeFrank is one of them. He got the pole for this LCQ. You see Bob Cedino in the 04 following close behind. Now, Robert DeFrank, his ride is in jeopardy because Cedino is trying to get Matt Evans on the team. So it is uncertain whether Robert DeFrank will be here next season. The only caution of the heat race has happened here. Jeffrey Finguy is going to turn Jeff Evans, who he was a little upset with at Osterreichring, for holding up the pack. Finguy continues to go, but here's another angle. Hard contact by Jeff Evans as that car goes off on 2 wheels. Ray Takeda is going to get a piece of it, and a couple other cars are going to slow down. And that car was pretty damaged from that. He would have to go on pit road. As you see, that car is pretty broken. I'm not sure, he doesn't even have any control over it. He would go on pit road for 5 laps. He would not qualify for this race. Incident lap 2. This was soon afterward. Chris Aurelio is going to get tapped by Eris Shock, and it's going to go into Ray Takeda. This could hurt Ray Takeda's event. But the JFI cars caused a couple of incidents here. And now we had another incident on lap 17. Chris Aurelio was upset with Eris Shock for wrecking him. He's going to wreck her back. He knows that he can't make this race. This car is not performing well enough, so he decided to make sure Eris Shock does not make it in. And the JFI team were having a fit. We had to send officials down in pit road to make sure there wasn't any skirmishes. But Chris Aurelio and Eris Shock, maybe a new rivalry has brewed if Aurelio runs next season. Gabe Carraz, car number 16, despite not doing well in his heat, he's going to do very well in the LCQ, and he's passing Robert DeFrank on the inside. Carraz, this is more of a redemption mission. He wants to make sure he does well today to redeem himself from last year in his blunder of hitting the pace car. Skylar Johnson is in her first event, but she's just slightly out of the top 3. This car has been doing well today, and at the current moment, no JFI cars are in, so she's trying to be the first one. There's no plans for Skylar Johnson to run next season, but maybe if she does well enough here, they may give her a ride. Though at the current moment, it doesn't look it. They do have a full team lineup for next season of Kenna Blaze, Finguy, and Shock. But a pass under Samantha Yankee could be just what does it. But she still needs to pass Robert DeFrank, which is not going to work. Gabe Carraz is your winner as he goes past the screen. Followed by Bob Cedino and Robert DeFrank. Samantha Yankee ended up getting around Skylar Johnson, so Skylar Johnson not going to make the show. Here are the final results. Gabe Carraz is in the race. Bob Cedino will race at Myrtle Beach, and Robert DeFrank will as well. Unfortunately, Samantha Yankee, who won twice this year, is not going to be in the race. Same for Skylar Johnson, who was hoping to make her first start. Michelle Cedino, who's made every race this year and won at Zandvoort. Jeffrey Finguy, the Ruin Laces Certs winner, is going to fail to qualify. Willie Decker, who was hoping for the short tracks. He likes these kind of circuits, and that's where he thrives, but not today. Ray Takeda is going to fail to qualify. Jonathan Bentons, Alex Tanker, the Talladega winner. Okuyama Dea from Japan. Chris Aurelio, which is very upsetting for him. Eris Shock. Jeff Evans, who's going to be back next year. And Prudence Littlejohn, who's running a partial schedule next season, also failed to qualify. Well, that was it for the Myrtle Beach heat races. I hope to see you for the Myrtle Beach heat race finale. It's going to be coming up soon. I'll see you then.